I know understanding guys seems really difficult sometimes. He doesn't do stuff that you would do, and sometimes he does do stuff you wouldn't do. So what gives? How do you know what's going on inside that mind of his? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the mailbag, though, this episode, and I'm going to explain how to understand men and know what he's thinking before he thinks it. Hey, this is Cavallo from datingfire.com and datingadviceguru.com. I want to share this letter that I got from a reader because it highlights this whole idea of understanding men really well. She says, "Dear Carlos, why does my man treat me like I've been a bad girl, behaves as if he wants to dominate me, and yet he doesn't really do or say anything? Some history. My guy is emotionally close to me. We've had trust issues where trust is very thin. We break up, or at least I do, and then a few months later he's texting me again to talk to me, but won't answer any direct questions. He had a difficult childhood. He was totally a bad boy. He loves women, and he can lie easily. Help me understand him. Signed, Lost." Well, Lost, I'm going to call you L here. L, we've got a lot of things to cover. Let's start with the man that you choose. Understanding men, tip number one is remember you chose this guy. Many women don't realize that their choice in a man is the first thing you got to look at. Are you choosing men that are difficult to understand? Are you choosing men who are difficult to get close to? What kind of man do you typically choose? Your choice in men shows what you're subconsciously looking for in a man. This means that maybe he's not the best man for you, but you have some habitual pattern that you feel compelled to repeat. For example, when I was dating, I would choose women that were quirky, smart, attractive, but also they had a difficult time nurturing me, and I started seeing that pattern. It took me many years to realize that I really did need a woman to nurture me and give me her feminine gifts. Once I figured this out, I was able to start choosing women who I could fall in love with safely and eventually marry and start a family. So take a good look at the kind of guy that you're choosing right now. Is he an emotional guy? Is he a sensitive guy? Is he a closed off and distant guy? Is he an angry guy? Take a look back into your past and figure out, why do you seem addicted to choosing this kind of guy? If you don't have a particular type, look a little bit closer. You might be surprised to find that there are similarities in the men that you're choosing. Ignore the appearances and look at his behaviors and his personality. All right, understanding men, tip number two, trust is super important. Now, in the letter from L that I just read, she said, some history, my guy is emotionally close to me. We've had issues where trust is very thin. Now, okay, I'm not sure whether he's actually emotionally close to you if your trust is thin, okay? There's kind of a contradiction there. Being close to someone means that you must have trust. Trust and respect, of course. So if you want to understand a man, remember, he has to trust you. If he doesn't trust you, then his behaviors are going to look weird and erratic. He's going to look inconsistent from day to day because he doesn't know if he can genuinely trust you or not. So as he starts to trust you, he will come closer and he'll appear more available, and yes, he'll be more consistent. When he feels that the trust is thin, he's going to pull away and he's going to look like he's unavailable, and he's going to do things that seem confusing. His behavior will confuse you. So focus on establishing consistent trust in your relationship. Hey, is your man distant? Is he hard to connect to, or do you feel stuck? Is he losing interest? Are you maybe close to breaking up? You can find out if you can save your relationship right now. Go on over to datingfire.com/win him back. That's datingfire.com/win him back. And I have an important tip for you here. This is understanding men. Tip number three, be honest with yourself first. Something I notice in a lot of questions that I get from women is that they're very often trying to cover up a very glaring defect in their relationship. That defect is usually the result of the woman not being totally honest with herself about his behavior or his character, or sometimes the actual quality of the relationship. It can be hard to see the flaws and shortfalls of the man that you're in a relationship with, but if you don't see him for who he actually is, I mean really see him and what is really happening here, you're just telling yourself lies. Most women are seeing all the evidence that they need to make a decision about their relationship, but the real problem is she's not admitting to herself what that evidence really means. A lot of women will tell themselves a story to make themselves feel better about accepting a man they know in their heart is actually inferior. The pain of losing the relationship to many women is far greater than the possible rewards of finding the right man. You might tell yourself that he's acting hot and cold, but be willing to look at the real reasons that he's acting that way. You might be surprised you're really overlooking something to make the relationship work, and ultimately this is not going to create a loving, trusting relationship. All right, the next Understanding Men tip is men are experts at occasional monogamy. Now, what I mean by occasional monogamy is that a guy will have no problem returning to a relationship if he has nothing better going on at the moment. Truthfully, women do this too. Now, L, who wrote that letter to me, said, "We break up, or at least I do, and a few months later he's texting to talk to me, but he won't answer direct questions." Okay, now if you find that your man is being coy or distant or he's superficial in your relationship, he's not going to be a committed partner in your relationship. And this can be for a variety of reasons. The top reason is that he might be commitment phobic or emotionally unavailable. But those terms are actually kind of misleading. It's very easy to label any guy that doesn't want a relationship with you as being a commitment phobe or emotionally unavailable, when in fact, he may just not want a relationship with you. Yeah, that one might hurt a little bit, might sting, but instead of facing the truth that he doesn't want a relationship with you, what do? You make up a new story that makes it his fault. What happened to Dave? Oh, he was afraid of commitment. He wouldn't ask me to marry him. Well, the truth of the matter is that he didn't propose for a reason. Yes, it's possible that he isn't willing to commit, but making the choice to not pursue a relationship doesn't mean he's afraid to commit to you. It simply means he didn't see any reward or any potential in the relationship. So calling it commitment phobic or emotionally unavailable, that's just a convenient way to make it the guy's fault. And I'll be honest with you here. You may be right. He might be emotionally unavailable. But again, the truth is, if you compare a man to a woman, just any man with any woman, he's always going to seem emotionally unavailable by comparison. Men are not built the same way as women. And if this is news to you, I'm really glad you found my channel, because I've got a lot I can show you about how men think and how to understand men. So if you find that your man is deliberately keeping a certain amount of distance in your relationship and you've done nothing to scare him, double check. Make sure that you really haven't done anything to scare him off, because you might be surprised. But if you really haven't done anything, then maybe he does feel like that a commitment just wouldn't help him with you. You know, the truth is that every man would commit to a relationship if he saw there was a benefit for him. And that's the first thing you have to communicate to him in the relationship. If you don't know how to communicate that to him, stick with me. I'm going to show you how to do that later in this video. The next Understanding Men tip is that men lie because of character and consequence. Now, L, who wrote in to me, said, "He's had a difficult youth. He was totally a bad boy. He loves women and he can lie easily." Well, if you find that the man you're with is able to lie easily, you have one of two situations. Number one, he has a serious character flaw. Or, number two, he's trying to avoid hurting you in some way emotionally. That's why he's lying. Now, the fact of the matter is that there are some men out there that do have a severe character flaw. They lie. They just can't help it. If he's a bad boy who is a bit of a womanizer, it's probably part of his character. Look, the truth is, if he's able to lie to you easily, you're in a bad relationship. Period. And that leads me to wonder, why would you want to understand him? Why would you want to stay in a relationship with a man with that kind of character? Are you addicted to him? That's the real problem here. But realistically, the bad boy like that he's actually relatively rare. I used to study this particular personality type, and I can tell you confidently, there are not that many bad boy womanizers running around. Maybe 1 in 20 or 2 in 20 are this kind of guy. So you may run into one from time to time, but don't assume that that's why he's doing this. Most men lie because they're trying to keep the peace in the relationship. Most guys don't have very good relationship skills, so they use the occasional lie to even up the playing field. Hey, if you like these tips, go on, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. You can get these videos every week, and you're going to know immediately when they come out. Don't miss out on these. The next Understanding Men tip is men are experts at rationalizing their behavior. As a matter of fact, so are women, but we're really talking about guys here, so let's put that aside for the moment. We are all really good at confabulation. Confabulation is the ability to make up reasons for our behavior after the fact, okay? Nobody wants to think of themselves as being irrational or out of control. But the truth is, we all act irrationally about 90% of the time, and then we back up the reason we did that with rational sounding reasons. So tell me again why you bought a $700 pair of shoes. Oh, they just match my outfit so perfectly and I had a bonus coming in, and you know what I mean. We all rationalize like this. This is the psychology of human beings that we don't like to admit. It sounds dirty and embarrassing, but it's true. So when L said that he had a difficult childhood, we all have, haven't we? Anybody can fall back on that as an excuse, but the truth is, we all have to overcome our childhoods. About 10% of your effort in relationships is just getting over the last relationship. 90% of your work is working through your childhood issues so that they don't get in the way when the right man comes along. Again, that's what I'm showing you here. Don't make excuses for him. Many women that I counsel are experts at excusing their man's behavior in some way because they know if they don't come up with an excuse, they'd have to take action, usually getting rid of this guy that has these terrible behaviors. So what do you have to do? You got to make him sound acceptable. Yeah, he never calls me and he won't talk to me, but he had a difficult childhood. He never compliments me and he usually insults the way I look, but that's because his mother was really critical. Sure, these things could be true, but he has a responsibility to clean up those behaviors so that he can act like a grown-up man, not a childish boy man. So ladies, stop making excuses for men. Hold them to a higher standard. Men will never meet or exceed your expectations if you're constantly lowering your expectations to meet him. Get it? Not every guy you start dating is worth staying with. And finally, last understanding man tip is the most important thing to understand about guys is to make him see you as the prize, period. To make him chase you to win you over. That's the real goal here. You've got to make this guy worry about losing you instead of the other way around. When I was in my 20s, I was in love with this girl named Michelle. I was living in Kansas City at the time, and I remember distinctly, I went over to her house to surprise her with a visit. We hadn't been dating very long, but when I got there, her car was gone, and I knocked on her door and she wasn't there, so I just decided to wait. So I waited. From 6 o'clock until 11:30 at night, I waited in my car. And then I realized, horrifyingly, that she might not be coming home. Let me tell you, that night I was jealous, hurt, afraid, worried, you name it, I felt it. And the reason I felt all those feelings didn't really matter to me. The only thing that mattered now was I had to have Michelle. Yeah, even knowing that she might have been spending the night at some other guy's house, I was worried sick. I barely slept that night, and all I did was work to win her over after that. She didn't spend 1 minute trying to understand me. She just knew what to do to make me desire her. You want to know what she did? Because this stuff works. It's based on love psychology, and I can show you how men think. I'm a man. I've got the insider secrets to getting guys to feel like I did for Michelle. You want to know more? You can discover what men really want, why they disappear and ghost you, what he wants you to say to him specifically. I'll give you a hint here. There are words he's actually waiting to hear from you. When is he going to commit to you? Why does he leave you just when things are going great? Why do you end up doing all the work? Look, I'm going to give you the truth that no one else is telling you. You ready to turn the tables finally? You ready to get him to text you for a change so that he doesn't ghost you? Do you want to turn it around so that he stops taking you for granted? So you're not just a friend with benefits? Look, don't pretend that these videos are just an entertaining diversion. You really do want to get success in your relationships. Don't minimize it. Keep watching more of my channel, but you can also take it to the next level. Why not get your master's degree in guys? Learn how to win men the way other women only wish they could. How would you like to get him to take you seriously? If you want to know how, go here, datingfire.com/obsession. That's datingfire.com/obsession. For a limited time, you can even get my Understanding Men program free at that page. Go check out the video right now. It'll tell you how to obsess his mind and capture his heart. And yes, if you want more of this topic, go on over to datingfire.com. You can click on the article. If you're new here, or even if you're not, do the big 3 before you go. Like and subscribe. You can get this stuff every single week. You turn on notifications, circle that little bell icon that's next to the button, the subscribe button. Do that so you get notified when I release more incredible videos coming soon. And if you're already subscribed, please share. I just give away all this great info. I need other women to find this channel. Oh, number 3, comment below. Do you agree with these tips? Is there a video you'd like to hear? Do you want a part 2? Do you disagree? Whatever, put it in the comment section below. Hey, don't forget to wait a few more seconds. I'm going to put up a recommended video that YouTube thinks you'll like, so why not try it? This is Carlos Cavallo. As always, live and love with passion.